All right, so it sounded a little bit like a broken record as we come in this press conference, coming off really a poor performance on our part. Central Arkansas, I want to give them a lot of credit. They were more motivated. They played harder. They played tougher. They played fast. They were very motivated. We were not. I don't know why. It's a little frustrating for us not to be that way. Somehow I got to do a better job. But that was a huge conference game, and we didn't play well. We didn't play hard. We're not playing hard right now. We're not playing fast. We're not playing with a lot of passion. And those are things we got to continue to work on to get better at, as we move through this season. So, and that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot of things you can look at in the game. We knew we were going to have trouble blocking them up front. We had to throw the ball a little more. If we pitch and catch, things might be a little better. We struggled with that, and they pushed us around on defense. And I think all these things kind of together just kind of summed up the day. So we're back home again. We got Tennessee Tech's homecoming, and I think the message to our guys was, we gotta spend some more time in our preparation on and off the field, and we gotta go play fast and play with some passion and play with some urgency. And one thing we've done around here in the past, we haven't always played great, but we've always played pretty hard and played with some passion. Right now, we got to find that. We don't have it right now. We got to find it because that's the thing that to me shows, that we're not. We got to find that and continue to get better at that. So that's the message this week. We're going to try to play fast. We're trying to simplify things as much as we can to get guys to play fast, but you got to have enough scheme stuff to give yourself a chance. So we're trying to do that as well. Go have a great week of practice, and I've kind of challenged the guys to spend more time outside of what's required to prepare themselves for a game, whether that's watching tape or whatever it might be. Some different things we're challenging them to do. So. Got a lot we're working on right now, getting these guys to go play fast and play with some urgency, and we're going to go at it this week and come out and play better on Saturday. That's the goal, and win the game. And a lot of the goal stuff is you got to kind of put aside right now, and you just got to focus on this week and win the ball game, and that's really it. And that's what we talked about yesterday, and that's what we'll have to continue to do. So that's kind of where we are. Tennessee Tech, man, a good football team. People will look at records. You don't really look. I look at the record, but I go watch them play and who they play. And they've played 3 ranked FCS opponents. Been in all those games. They're playing hard. They do a lot of stuff on offense that's gonna give you challenges. The quarterback can run and throw. They do a lot of good stuff, and they're a good football team. Their record is not indicative of how good a football team they are. But their kids are playing hard, and they're in every game. It's not like sometimes the score looks one way at the end, but when you watch the game, it's really not that way. And like I said, they played a lot of really good teams. So that aside, we got our own stuff to get fixed before he can even go there. But they're a good team. And obviously we're going to have to go play well, period, just to give ourselves a chance to win the game. So, hopefully we can do that. It's another home game, which is hopefully be good for us, have a good crowd, and have a good student section, all those things. Hopefully that'll be good when we come out and have a good outing on Saturday. So got a lot of work to do, but, our kids showed up practice yesterday, and I think they were in a decent frame of mind, which is positive this time of year, after the game, I talked a lot about adversity in life, and everything doesn't always go the way you want it to, but how you respond to that's what makes you who you are, and I think that's where we are in the season right now. And these are life lessons in the game of football that our guys are learning, and so we got to work our way through. We got to find a way to respond and come out, have a great week of practice, come out and play well on Saturday. I'll open the floor for questions.
So starting off, Coach, how's the team's health going into this week?
It may be a little better. I think Preston Daniels will practice this week, which is a positive. We had several key guys that did not really play last week. Travis Bell, he played a few snaps, but he didn't play much. He'll practice this week. Hopefully he'll be able to go. I think Preston will be back. We still got some slots that are banged up. It's maybe a little bit better than it's been. We're still a little banged up in some areas, but the injury report's really long. So if I had it in front of me, I could eat up some of this press conference reading off. But that's part of it this time of year. Guys are practicing. It's just a lot of them are banged up, but that's part of it. But those are some guys right off the top of my head, that are banged up that hopefully some of them will get back. Murphy, he'll be out again this week. Like I said, if there's particular guys, I'll be glad to answer. There's a lot of guys that are banged up, and as the week goes on, because we haven't even had a real practice this week yet, it kind of develops, and some of these things, define themselves as the week goes on. So maybe a little better than we were, but we're still banged up. But when you're this time of year, I think most programs are going to be that way to some degree.
Coach, looking at Tennessee Tech this year, is there anything similar to their team this year from when you guys played them in 17 and 18 that you've noticed?
That's none of the kids are the same. It's a different time, and the head coach was there. One of the coordinators there, but it's different kids, it's different times. We're a completely different team than we were then. I think they're a completely different team than they were then. I think they're way better. Not nothing against them, but they're much better, much improved. So I don't know if there's anything you can really relate to or correlate, from that period of time, just because it was so long ago. This is different teams, different times, and you got to go get prepared for a Saturday these day and age. It doesn't matter, and you got to go play your best to have a chance to win, and we definitely do right now for sure.
Last year at homecoming, a new attendance record was set. It was a huge win against North Carolina A&T. What do you remember about that game, and how important is it to have a packed crowd in terms of home field advantage? Well,
it's always important to have a packed crowd. It brings energy and enthusiasm. It's huge. I say it all the time. That's the beauty of playing at home, is that you get that home field advantage with, a great crowd that brings energy, enthusiasm. That night, you felt it. You sensed it. It was really good. And that was a year ago. But it's impactful. I've said it all the time. It's impactful. It makes a huge difference with our guys. I've always said the first thing they look at when they come out is, to see what the student section looks like, what the crowd looks like, and that's something that's been going on for years here. And so it's a big deal. That night, it was just a good atmosphere. I think you remember, I call it a college football atmosphere. And you can get them on the road and you get them at home, right? And you can get them at both places. But it was a really good atmosphere that night, and hopefully we can have that because we need it. We need it. Every little bit of help we can get, we're going to take it right now. Every bit of energy and enthusiasm, we'll take it because it's definitely needed right now.
Coach, going back to the last game against Central Arkansas, you talked about if we could pitch and catch, and I feel like there's a couple of sides to the coin. One where there are opportunities where Owls were open in the passing game, and whether it was the pass or the reception, it was just a little bit off. And then I guess the other side of the coin is not being able to execute that. How do you look at that, and how do you balance that moving ahead of we had some opportunities, but also we missed on those?
Well, so we threw the ball 30 times Saturday, and nobody mentioned it. I don't ever remember in my time here us attempting to throw the ball 30 times. Usually when we go above 20, it's an L. Just because it's usually you get into desperation. But there were some things Saturday that presented, and we knew we were going to have trouble blocking their guys up front. We knew that was going to be a bit of a struggle. But we did find as we got going, we had some things in the pass game. So we went, I think, 14 for 30. And when the game was over and we come back and we watched the tape, if we went 20 for 30, I think you might have seen a different outcome in the game, if I could sum it up. Because not even the throws that you see that were dropped or maybe we were rut, but there's guys running wide open. Sometimes we didn't even get the ball off or throw it to the right person that are wide open, that are what I call option open, and it wasn't even an option play action. But we didn't, and that's kind of the tough part about it is that's kind of the way things have been this year. We can't put it all together, and it might be the tackle turns the 5 technique loose and we got somebody open, we can't set our feet and throw the ball, or it might be we misfire, or it might be we drop it. Like it's not it's all of us. Like it's just not one thing, and we just can't put it all together. Because honestly, as poorly as things were, if you go do that, like I said, we talked about if you could go 20 for 30 and you hit those right ones, I mean, you're talking about maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns, I'm not talking about just catching a curl route, which we dropped several of those. I'm talking about things that could result in points, but we didn't. And so that's stuff we've been working on. That's been an emphasis for us because we knew early on we were going to have to throw the ball a little more to navigate some things. And now going into the game, if you said we're going to throw it 30 times, I'd have probably looked at you like a crazy. But that's what presented itself, and we were having some success with it. I mean, we were able to move the ball and do some good stuff. I mean, we just couldn't do it consistently. I'm a broken record, right? We got to find there's got to be some consistency. It's not going to be perfect out there, but we got to consistently be able to do things at a high level, especially when you're playing good folks. I mean, they're a good football team. I said that early on in the week, and they're a good football team now, and they were motivated, and I knew they were going to be. So, yeah, I mean, that was just the way the game unfolded, and every game's a little different, takes on its identity of what you feel like you can get done. And we did some good things, but we weren't able to put it all together and be consistent with it, and, it was unfortunate.
You said earlier here that you wanted to look to simplify things in certain areas. Can you elaborate on what you think that might look like this week?
Well, it's like, you watch us play, man. We don't play fast. We play like we're thinking about things all the time. We just don't look like anything like what we've been before here. And you're trying to get guys to go play fast, and we have. When I say simplify, just say on defense, you're trying to get enough scheme in to give yourself a chance to win the game. But guys got to go play. They got to go play fast. So, it may be scheme or it may be just, hey, when we do this, we're going to do it. Don't think, just go. But there's some things you can't help but do that. The other thing that happens a little bit is our preparation. So if you're just doing what's required at practice, you're probably not getting yourself ready to play. You got to go watch some tape. You got to dive into some stuff and really do a little bit extra if you really want to get to where you don't have to think, where you can just react. When you're thinking, you're going to play slow, right? When you're worried about making a mistake, you're not going to play fast. You got to just cut it loose, trust your preparation, trust your instincts, but you got to do all these things to give yourself a chance to do that on Saturday. And we look that way at certain spots at times. And, especially on defense at times, but at times all over the place. And we're just not playing fast. And I don't know what the reason is. I'm trying to figure it out. Like there's I'm trying to figure a lot of things out right now. I don't know. And so but that's one thing I think we could try to work on this week to be better. But you got to have enough to go into a game with, because what offenses do today, especially, it's a lot. And you have to have enough to give yourself a chance schematically. For us offensively here, we might prepare all week for a look and then get a completely different look in the game. You got to change gears first series. And it's just been one of those years where it just things hadn't aligned always. And that's not uncommon for us offensively. But so there's no magic answer on that, Nolan. I think getting guys to trust their instincts, but preparing the right way so that they're confident in what they're doing. All right, bam, this, bam, I'm gone. And I'm at a point right now, I'd rather see a guy trigger than I would think and be late to something, even if they trigger to the wrong thing. Like we need to go play fast. We need to play with some confidence. We need to we need to find some kind of swagger about us, that we don't have right now. We got to find it. So you're trying to find any different thing you can do right now to try to get that going, and we're giving that a shot this week. I told the guys that, I asked him. I said, "Hey," I asked him yesterday. I said, "How many of y'all know who Tennessee Tech played on Saturday?" 5 kids raise their hand. So we got to do more outside of what's required to help us have more confidence so that we can go play fast. If that makes sense. How all that adds up together. And that's just an area we got to work on. I mean, there's a lot of things we got to get better at. And listen, it's all of us. I don't want me to sit there and sound like it's all like it's. There's just things we got to do better, and finding that button that gets us with playing with a little bit of that chip on your shoulder, urgency, passion, whatever you want to call it, that we've missed. We haven't had a lot of it here this year. Had it at times. But we got to find that and get that back, because that's how we've won here. Even when we might not be as good in some areas, or we're not, but that's how we've won here, and we got to find a way to get that back.
Last question, Coach. Last time these two teams met up, was it favorable weather conditions? Thankfully, we have good weather in the forecast for Saturday, but I understand there's a pretty long rain delay in that 2018 game. What do you remember about that time of how you were kind of locked in, ready to go for a game, and then it's the hurry up and then wait for a long time? Then you had to flip the gears, and the team came out and I think ran for the tune of over 500 yards in that matchup.
It took us a while to get going, I'll tell you that. But we went through a run there. Well, I don't know, it was a bunch of weather delays, and I'll be honest with you, there's no real way to prepare for that. That was a locker room. It was early in the year. I remember there wasn't a lot of air conditioning, if there was any. I know we were sitting out in the breezeway, and it's just one of those deals. And we didn't come out guns a-blazing now. It took a little while to get going. But that crowd now, they were pretty motivated football team. They were we were watching some of that game, and they playing fast, playing hard, playing fast, and everything wasn't perfect, but playing hard and playing fast. So that's as much as I remember. We went through a run there. We had a lot of those weather delays, and there's no great way to navigate those things, because you don't know when you're going to start. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, there's a game time. Okay, we're at 1, right? Well, you don't know. You're just sitting and waiting. And so, but we didn't come out there. It took us a little bit to get going. And that was back in 2018. Like I said, we're in a little bit different times right now. So, but that was the most I can remember of that. But I remember we had a bunch of them. Whether it was that year or the year before, I think it started the year before, and then for those couple of years we had a bunch of them. So, all right, all good. Appreciate it.